Hey welcome to my video. Today I will drag you down through my experience of building this Normandy model of 6 June 1944. The total model took me 1.5 years to build, but there is a reason for that. I built this model in 3 phases. Every time I was done I needed to be more accurate. Today I will show you my experience building Normandy 1944 sector dark green near vierville-sur-mer in a 1.5 year progress. I started with buying all the stuff I needed. I took the foam and I had these water and grass plates and a lot of German defenders, some paint, turf, ballast, etc. I started off with building the landing crafts. I had one landing craft for the infantry and another one for the vehicles. Here you can see the LCT for the vehicles painted down with the airbrush. You can see I put it down, the decals and the weathering on it, and after that the ropes, and at this position it was done, it was clear, and now it can move on to the next landing craft, the LCVP, and now you can see it with the weathering, the decals all on it. So this one was clear. I go to the building market because I needed some more extra wood, and after that I had a good starting surface. I moved on to build on the cannon, and this one will set place in a bunker watching the road to the entrance of vierville-sur-mer. The cannon was in fact not the right one for a bunker, because this one was meant for aircrafts, but I really wanted a cannon to focus onto the road, into the bunker, and this one was the only one I could find. So this one was has to be it. After a bit of sleep I started building the bunker, and here you can see me layering up the bunker in progress, and this is not the real accurate of a bunker build, but this was my product and you need to do it with it. After that I placed it down in a box to secure them, and the glue was on the bunker, and now we are going to the surface. That was an important point, and I started sewing them with a saw, and after that I could place it, glue it down onto the model, onto the surface, and after that I placed down some more cliffs, and now you can see it. It was messy, it was real messy, but after that I focused on moving, and after that we can see the other plate down for the beach, and so we had a cliff and a beach now. And that is Normandy, right? Well, I started molding up some extra rocks, and here you can see it was already 30 to 40 pounds and it was real heavy. So that was a bit tough, but we are not going to stop on this point. We're going to focus and move on. It was time to airbrush the cliffs, and you can see it in 3 tints. I started with a dark gray tint. After that was going to be dry, I just focused on how the scene is coming together. Now you can see a log ramp on the beach. I was building that before. Here you can see the second color added. It was a green color, and after that you see a light gray color. And with that the cliffs were done. Here you can see the log ramp I pieced together from some wooden sticks. And after that I placed it down on the beach, or I needed to find a better spot. After that I started to build up the wooden boxes and grates, in this case for the German defenders, with materials or stuff they needed to defend the beach. Here you can see some sandbags onto the beach, and I was making some trenches. It was a pretty tough process, but it's getting to a point. Here you can see all the trenches down, and I placed down a cannon into the point, the AA gun. And after that I started moving up with the bunker. And here I was carving the beach. It was a really tough project as well, because it was going to have a lot of mess, but it was really tough to get all that foam out of that foam piece. So here you can see model with a little bit of mud, brownish tint. And here you can see the sand paint, sand color onto the beach. You can see here all the stuff in the car, and I moved on to my home and they're settled. And I could move build further. I placed down some tufts and sandbags onto the model, and now it was going to the next point. So as you can see the photos. Then I moved up on creating some more figures. I had the figures ready to place onto the model and came to the thought to make more figures. And oh no, here we go again. In the time I had a break from modeling, I could also doing some research between the time, and here you can see me still painting the German soldiers. But if you're painting the soldiers, they need to be constant dry, and so in the meantime you can research more and more to get more photos, get more visuals on the place, on the model. And after that you're going to paint a lot of new figures again and again and again. And here you can see 4 new figures ready to place down onto the model. I added some blood to a few figures to get the live action on the board, and after that I placed the figures onto the model, and you can see him here. You can already see an awesome layout in front of you, and yeah, it's getting so much extra details with the trees on top of the cliff. You can see them right in the back, and yeah, it's coming together. And here you can see me adding the sand onto the beach. And with all that small details, it was coming to a realistic beach. But I was doing this model in 3 phases, so this is not the total one, so you could see in the thumbnail. But let's see how it's turned out. I had some I needed some more stuff to get a new plaster cloth over the sea wave. Before I did this with toilet paper, but that doesn't work, and you need serious plaster to strengthen the beach or strengthen your model. And now you can see it placing down with the boats. And after that, I needed to give the sea her wave, and how I did that is with a bit of gray, green and light gray. And here I was thinking, maybe I need to go to the next phase, maybe I need to go to rebuild the model. But I didn't know for sure, I wanted to finish this first. I needed to place down the figures onto the model, and this was a experience, try to give the CR wave, but it was not the good color for the wave. I built also some extra American figures to place down onto the model to give her a real live action effect. Yeah, you can see what you can see here is for me a bit difficult. The eyes are still with white and black, and that's too much, and I needed to cover that a little bit up, but as you can see through the pictures, I didn't do that because I painted them into the boat, and after that I was looking into their faces and I thought, oh, I needed to paint this a little bit stronger, so you've got some better details on the eye and not this clown eye, but hey, alright. At this moment I was going to the second phase, and it was time for accurate things. I was going to break down the model. I sealed it out, and after that you can see him here on the ground. It was done. The model has to be break down, and you can see it here. It was time for some accurate things, and I built it first, the new cliff onto the model, and here you can see it in total. After that I started to pin them down so they will stick together, and here you can see the new cliff onto the model. And for the surface I needed a much longer surface, so as you can see here I was going for a 2-meter surface, and there was going to be a lot of expanding, but in the meantime we will get there. And again, it was really messy. Well, with this done, I've got 2 meters, and now it was going to a new start. We're going to fix the model in an accurate way. I had new photos, I had new documentation, and I was thinking, why not? We're going for this, and we're going to fix it in an accurate way. And now you can see the new waves added onto the model. You can see a shingle, you can see the bunker placed on top. And that was the bunker placed down on the National Guard monument on Vierville-sur-mer, sector dark green. It's still there, and that bunker is still in that position. But in this way it is a monument, in this time it's a monument for the National Guard. This was the result from that day, and after that I painted the bunker, and I've got some new plaster to mold up to fix it all, and you can see it here. It's giving me a large strong surface, and I was really happy with some new plaster to fix things around. Here you can see the model in total, and after that it was going to painting, or painting, give it a paint of a sand color. After that I could do the sand over the beach with a sprayer, and so you can see also the sea has the color now that it needed. And here I'm trying to recreate a road ID. Here I did the grass tufts, the grass tufts placed onto the model, and I did it with a electric static grass applier from Nog, and that works really well. Here you have some new pictures of the gray-white edition, and with these pictures I could reach a lot of a nice and awesome effect of how this was on D-Day. I was recreating something that is so valuable, and it must never be forgotten, and that's the reason I built this model. Sometimes you need to see things in a way that not only is in a book. You needed to see things to understand things, and in a model you can understand it really well because you can see the complete scale, the complete scene together, and the terrifying things that the soldiers must have seen at that day, at that 6 June 1944. That was the complete mission of this model. And you can see the terrifying bunker watching the road. You can see the Germans on top in the trenches, watching down through the beach line, and yeah, that must be so terrifying for those soldiers. And it was for a reason called Omaha Beach, Bloody Omaha, and I needed to fix that. Yeah. So here you can see some extra details of the men I painted. And I liked so much the uniforms, but the eyes are still a struggling point for me, so I need to practice on that. But I'm so excited about the the uniforms. And it was there was a terrible view. Here I added some blood onto the beaches because it was bloody Omaha, and that was a really hard part for me to build. And later on you can see also soldiers that have been blown up and covered in blood. But that was the reality of Omaha Beach, and yeah, it's a bit of there's a question, can you show that to people? But we can always hide the history, but at this moment Omaha Beach, there were so much horrifying things. It needed to be given to the public with a view of how this was, and maybe it's not very accurate, but this was a realization of how it possibly was. And I needed to recreate that because I want to give this to the community, to the public, and we need to remember this. I started to build up a Sherman tank. It was not one I was really planning for the beach, but it was one. We were getting to phase 3, and here you can see me building with detailed photos of a game called Hell Let Loose. You will see some extra pictures of that later on into the video. Here you can see the pictures. I have got electric poles, the road, the barbed wire on the sides of the road. You can see the rubble down to the beach of the cliff, and you can see the flowers and the nature and the poppies, of course. Here you can see the mud onto the model. I will say the photos in this phase 3 is a little bit messed up. It's through each other, and we'll fix it, try to fix it, but it has to be. So here's the bunker I built it for the model. It was a new bunker. The other model of the other bunker I removed, and here you can see the messed up with my photos. So sorry for that. But now we're on a good way. We are rebuilding the model here, and you can see the clay shingle with the wall, blue wall in this case, on top. And this was a cover point for the American soldiers, and is still now visible on Omaha Beach. The shingle has moved, it's cutting to an end there, and after that you've got some sand and stuff. But that was also in the pictures I saw, not only in the game, but also in the historical photos I found. Here I was building WN71, the bunker. And if you're looking on the internet for WN71, you can find this bunker also in the strategic maps of Omaha Beach. Here I added the bunkers to get the looks down, and whoa, again it was really messy. The plaster is giving you so much white stuff on your hands, and it's really annoying, but to see the result at the end, you can see it here. It still amazes me how I can build this in my home, and yeah, it's really incredible. You see the tank here onto the model, but it will be removed later on because I didn't want a tank on the model. But I was building a tank in that time, and I thought, hey, why not? I placed it to the model. So you give a extra dimension of how a vehicle looks like on the road. And the bunker of the National Guard, the bunker that I built at first, was right on the right side of the model, like 50 or 30 meters away. And I placed here the barbed wire through the walls, and you can see the bunker on top, the sand and the turf, the green, also on the cliff. It was coming to an end, and here you can see me painting a lot of new figures to the model, and I needed to be some more action figures. I needed a beach full of soldiers, and I added some insignias for the blue and gray, and here I added the wire. Yeah, the barb. No, not the barbed wire. The electric pole. And here is it. It's kind of exploding. All these figures onto the model. It was pretty hard to see, but yeah, this was reality. And I wanted to recreate that. And here you can see the Germans laying down onto the below side of the cliff. And I will show you with this video how that's turned out and why those Germans are there. But you can see here the landing crafts coming onto the beach. You can see the infantry running through the hedgehogs, through the log ramps, through the log poles with mines on top. So if a landing craft hits that, it will immediately explode. And you see weapons on the ground. You see men with Bangalore pipes running through to get to those barbed wire to blow it up and focus on searching cover behind the wall. And here you can see the Germans. The Germans were below the cliff because they were also defending the below ground. The low ground, and they did that because they had the trenches above. But if you throw grenades on the low ground, the Americans never are going to expect that. And also the officers commanded to set down their troops on the low level of the cliff. And here I painted the sides black, so it was coming to an end. And here the progress I made, it was done, and finally we were done. You can see here some pictures and you can enjoy the result. And here you can see the model on a card moving up to a classroom, because I'm a teacher and I always wanted to give lesson with my model. And here you can see the D-Day 6/6/1944. It was going to be a lesson for the kids, and here you can see it all on the table. And I wanted to show these kids the experience I've got with the building, but also the lesson about D-Day. How it was, what defenses were on the beach, how the planning were going, and yeah, it was really exciting how the kids, the students were reacting at this model. I did this model with my Stalingrad model, and this one is just a bigger, the Normandy model, but the Stalingrad model is a bit smaller. But with these two together, I wanted to recreate the effect of the first. Stalingrad was the first. How did you say that? Stalingrad was the first place where the Germans were defeated. So I needed to recreate Stalingrad at first, and Normandy was the second place where the Germans were defeated. So you had 2 points, and with these 2 points together, you could reach down a awesome setup of a lesson in a phase how the Allies and Soviets won the actual battle. Yeah, English is a bit hard for me, but I hope you understand. Here you can see the last pictures of the model, and this one is for me the most terrifying picture. You can see here a picture from out the landing craft through the eyes of a soldier who's running down to the beachhead. He sees the bunker, he sees the soldiers, he sees his men, his brothers in front of him dying, and this is everything I wanted to recreate, to live on with the memory of these soldiers. And I hope it's built in a way that people will understand, and I hope we can remember them forever. And I hope this model will someday be in a museum or place where it can show to the community, so we can remember them. And that's the point of why I recreated this in a realistic scale with the blood of bloody Omaha and the German defenders and the complete model together. It was just as a memory for those who fought for our freedom. And that's all what I wanted to say. And I thank you for watching the video and hope you subscribe. And I see you in the next video, where I can show you how I built Stalingrad, how I can build, how I did build building Stalingrad, how I did building another model. But this was Normandy 1944, 6 June 1944, and thank you for watching.